Hey, welcome back to another Ego on Break. I'm your host, Dynamite J. Andrews. Got the Mississippi Madman, Logan Creed, sitting to my left.
Yep.
And we're going to talk a little bit about wrestling. Maybe not so much about MLW, but we'll
We
see
can talk about it. It's not going to be good.
We'll see where the conversation goes. But yeah, it's been an exciting week, I guess.
2 weeks. since
2
we've
weeks.
been back.
Yeah, so it's been a minute. So thank you for tuning in.
I had car troubles. You had truck troubles.
Yeah, so that's what happens when things break down, and there's a pandemic, and you can't get your vehicles fixed.
Yep.
So got them fixed. Good news. Yay.
I know shade tree mechanics down
Yeah. So yeah. So MLW. What do you think about the last couple episodes and of the Super Summer Series or whatever they're doing with AAA?
Worst referees I've ever seen in professional wrestling. The promos have been really, really good. Too bad about the wrestling.
Yeah.
That's basically all I can say about it. It's just bad.
Yeah, I don't know if I saw like the week before's, but this week's I saw main event was the Parks. No relation to Joseph Park, I don't think.
Yeah, maybe.
But possibly.
I don't think I've seen him in a match that bad.
And they took on, who did they take on? They took on
The insane clown.
Psychosis
Mhm.
and
Some fat guy.
yeah. So definitely was an interesting match.
No,
It was a hard-hitting match.
No. Hard to watch.
Crazy bumps.
Crazy bumps.
Crazy
yeah.
bumps, hard to watch. Yeah, that kind of stuff. We've decided that we are not fans of extreme lucha libre.
It just didn't make any sense. Go watch the damn match and you'll see. You tell me it makes sense. Please explain how.
I didn't make it through. I don't know who won. You know
I
who
do
won?
the La Parks.
The La Parks. The Parks, not
Whatever.
the La Parks.
LA Park.
Yeah.
They won, yeah.
It wasn't good for sure.
No, have you seen their cooking promos they've been doing?
I've seen one or two.
Those are funny. Those are
Yeah.
actually really good. But
that match was not.
Man.
It was tough to watch.
That match was like 40 minutes long, and you're sitting. I literally sitting there yelling at my phone, watching this damn thing. Please, Ian! Oh, for God's sake, please! Ian. Why is there 6 people catching one big fat guy? What the hell's going on?
Well, there you
I'm just
right there.
hollering, and there's a damn bar table being used, and a garbage barrel for some reason.
Yeah, it was not a
in the
garbage.
road.
This was like a 55-gallon drum. It
But
did not.
It had garbage in it at one
Yeah,
point.
but it did not bend.
No.
Right after the guy took the suplex on it, I was like, you know what? I don't want to see anybody die. It's
It
not
was
what I'm
horrible.
into.
Only
So.
anybody was going to die was me getting a damn migraine from my head
Having a heart
exploding. It was pissing me off. It was so bad.
The promos and things like that, the skits and stuff was really good.
Yes.
We find out that Manser and Savio
are going to have a triple stack cage
yeah,
match
the Terradome or whatever.
with a surprise tag partner that could be
Could be
Keanu,
Yo Baby, Yo Baby, Yo. Could
Kevin
be,
Nash,
or Glacier.
or Glacier.
Seeing how Kevin Nash probably isn't going to do it, Glacier probably won't do it because of AEW. I'm rooting for you. So
Last time they did this match that I know of was WCW, and it was Randy Savage and Hulk Hogan taking on the Dungeon of Doom, and Tiny Lester as Zeus was coming up as, or I think it was Z-Man then, because that was WWE's
Yeah.
gimmick.
yeah, he was like the Z Gangster or
Yeah,
something.
and it was another guy with muscles that had literally never wrestled.
So, looking forward to that. There's going to be chairs and ladders in the bottom.
Yes.
No, doors and ladders. Barbed wire, light tubes.
Light tubes on second row.
Yeah, and then the third cage will just be the title belts, I guess.
For some reason, they're taking the one Mexican guy's his watch.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Gino didn't have any gold.
Gino, yeah, he's like, I'm just gonna give that to Moon Man.
Yeah, or take it to the pawn shop. I'll figure out something to do with that. So, that was fun. The Dynasty visiting Bucksnort, Tennessee, and meth gators and
yes.
raccoons. Hammerstone was pretty disappointed he couldn't get a raccoon.
Y'all scared of meth gators, and I wanted me a pet raccoon.
So yeah, very interesting show. So
But I will say, if you get a chance, if you're on Instagram, go follow Hammerstone. He's really fun to watch. He does all kinds of stuff on his channel.
have you watched the Dark Side of the Rings?
Which one?
All of them.
All but Chris Benoit. I'm not gonna watch it.
Hey, what was the latest one? The latest one on UFW?
UFW
Herb
was
Abrams or
really
whatever.
Good. I like that. Was like the ultimate cokehead that went insane and had a heart attack, basically.
Or went into hiding. We don't know.
Yeah, I did like that. They say he was just a little short fella, and he showed up talking about you can't use the UWF.
And had cowboy boots on.
So he was known for being naked and wearing cowboy boots, doing coke and hookers.
Yep.
That was literally his legacy of professional wrestling.
And high paying wrestlers.
Yeah, and bouncing checks higher than Paul Heyman ever thought about.
And it was funny to they called the bank, and the bank was like, "Yeah, he's got millions," but then he had a second checking account with nothing.
Two accounts.
There's a reason he had millions, because he didn't spend any.
It was good though. I really did like it. I didn't know a lot about UHF. A lot of stuff I'd seen tapes and stuff on YouTube, and I watched some here and there, but not never great.
Yeah, no, it was different. So, but I didn't know anything really about Herb Abrams, and it's fun to see, you know. Yeah. But like you could tell, like his friends was his friends. Like they were passionate, you know, and. The one guy was crying and stuff.
Well, evidently when he paid great.
Yeah.
But when he didn't pay, he was like Paul Heyman. He bounced a check higher than hell.
Sorry. But
the door was a little short tonight. I'm not going to give you anything but this piece of paper.
Yeah. It was different. You know, it was something I did learn. I didn't know anything about him, so.
I didn't know. I'd only seen matches through the years.
Yeah. Give a shout out to Gil Culkin. Culkin Promotions from here in Mississippi back in the 70s, 80s. They ran wrestling here, promoted for I think Mid-South and AWA and that kind of thing. He's got a book out on Amazon. It's
is that the one Monty showed?
Yeah, it's my Mississippi Wrestling Territory or something like that. Go check that out. It seems to be good. I've got it. I'm going to read it. I've gotten maybe 2 or 3 pages in. Just man, like spare time is hard for me.
What was the promotion's name? Do you know?
Man, if you want to ask me, I could have told you.
I don't know. That's why I'm asking.
It had a promotion, but it's where like Michael Hayes and the Freebird, like Terry Gordy got started, and Paul Bearer was there early in his career, and a lot of guys like they are the first ones that put Michael Hayes and Terry Gordy together.
So they were responsible for Bad Street. Huh?
Yeah, Terry Gordy was like their champion at 14, and he was like 6'8" or something. You know, like he was bigger than everybody in the building, but he was only 14. You know. So crazy stuff, man. Like, but I'm looking forward to reading that. Check that out. You know, I don't think you'll be disappointed. I think the book is like $16, $17, $18, something like that, maybe 20.
A pretty good sized book.
Yeah, it's about that thick.
Okay.
I got some cool pictures and stuff in it.
So probably a little over 100 pages.
Yep. It had Frankie Kane, the great Mephisto or whatever. Yeah. Like he was their booker and stuff. So. Really cool. If you want to deep dive into Mississippi wrestling, like that's the book to do it with. And I've looked and researched all the stuff I could find before on Mississippi wrestling. So I'm happy to find that this book's finally out. And you know,
it's out there. But it's just hard to find. It's mainly with old newspaper articles.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, stuff's hard to go through and find.
A lot of that stuff was them doing it. You know, exactly. So very cool that book's out there. So be sure to check that out. I don't think you're going to be disappointed with the book, and nothing else. You're helping, local Mississippi guy, just keep the dream alive almost, and I'm, maybe not on the scale they were doing it on, but I'm happy to kind of be adding to that history of Mississippi wrestling. Yep. And speaking of history of Mississippi wrestling, 2 guys that came through Ego in the past. One, I think he made his debut, or maybe the week before made his debut or something, but he's on AEW Dark. And I believe this is him. I don't know 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure it is. He is wrestling as 10, the number 10. He's one of the Dark Order guys, but I believe, and I'm not going to spoil it for you, but I believe he was last seen in Ego. He wrestled JD Jenkins and injured his leg, injured his knee, and he's got a knee brace on there, so that's what I'm thinking it's him. But that's cool. And then Pineapple Pete, aka Suge D, aka Sugar Dunkerton, would be facing Chris Jericho.
I heard the name and I'm just like, that can't be right. And I looked, and then I went to his personal page and I was like, oh, it is him, thank God.
Suge being the the ever opportunist, like, Jericho just like calls him, oh, this guy over here looking like Pineapple Pete. And
he had that shirt on.
Like Suge straight went and got t-shirts made. Like, he took advantage of it. So shout out to Suge, and it's pretty cool to see him gonna be wrestling Jericho on AEW. So I don't know if that's gonna be part of Dark or AEW itself. I'm not 100% sure.
Might pull out Shakar special on it.
Yeah, but hey, man,
that's how he won the Southern 8.
That's how he won the Southern 8. That's true.
3 times in a row.
Second Great Southern 8 winner.
Yeah,
so
right.
Pretty rocking that's a thing. And I'm glad to see him on there. Suge's an awesome guy. Somebody I wish we could have used more, just never lined up. And yeah, the dude's phenomenal. So glad to see him and the number 10 getting, shots in AEW. It's pretty cool. So, that's Ego just adding to that Mississippi wrestling history, man. Like, I love it. I think that's really all I've watched. So I don't have anything else.
Well, I want to talk about, Supreme passing away.
Oh, Supreme.
XPW.
Yep.
I don't know of anything else he did. He probably did other federations, but
I'm sure around
that
California
was the biggest one I think he ever was notarized.
Right.
Popular federation.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get the right word. But well, I was telling you, like the first tape I ever. I'm not really a big autograph person, but when Luke Hawks come in, I was like, oh, I got this, and this is when Luke Hawks did like a 450 on the Supreme off of a scaffold, I think, or something, and he beat Supreme for the XPW belt, and I was like, well, that's cool. I said, let me get that, but I just, I don't know if he ever reached high popularity. Me and you knew who he was.
Yeah.
If you're really a hardcore wrestling fan, you probably at least seen him or heard of him, but he passed away over the weekend.
Yeah, and my Supreme memory is
when he went to do the Toad Splash.
He's working someone. I don't remember who he's wrestling, but it's like kind of hardcore because it's XPW
I think it was
or whatever.
Sabu.
And so was he going to go from the outside on the ladder inside the ring?
He was trying to jump from the outside to the inside, but he only had a ladder and nobody was holding it.
And it bounced. But so when he jumped, the ladder moved, and he toe splashed the hardest part of the ring.
Yeah.
Before bumping on the hardest part of the ring.
Unlike everybody else, he didn't know all that shit. He couldn't get up.
Yeah. He liked to die.
Yes, he almost at that point he almost early fatality.
Oh yeah. So sucks that we all have a time, and I hate that his number was called up, but. Check him out if you don't know who he is. I go back and watch some of his stuff. I'm sure there's plenty out there.
Oh, there's stuff on XPW. I think it's a little more out there now than it used to be.
Before, like a little short fat man, like he wasn't bad.
No, I forgot it. But he was actually he was known as a deathmatch guy, but he could really wrestle. Like he was a collegiate wrestler too.
Oh, really?
So that's why I was like, when I finally saw him wrestle, I was impressed. I'm not huge on death matches. I've done a few myself, but I'm not never saying, go out and do it. It's okay if it's not taken too far, but he was definitely some of them that were damn near taken too far.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And I just hated he passed. He wasn't that old of a guy. He was, I think he was like early 50s.
Yeah.
But right now, man, there's a lot of people dropping left and right. I saw little Richard died the other day.
Yeah, and the guy from Seinfeld.
Yeah, the father. Yeah, but hell, he was 90.
Yeah.
So
he was also in another show, The King of Queens.
Yeah,
that's
like
pretty good. I've been
shows.
watching that show. I never really got into it, and we've been watching on reruns. So, or let me rephrase it. My wife's been watching. I catch bits and pieces. So, I may catch an episode here or there if I'm eating supper or something. But for the most part, I'm down in the dungeon, working. So,
I mean, right now this mess going on. There's a lot of people dropping.
Yeah.
I did want to tell you one other thing. I don't know if you even know this. Do you know he had been there 30 years, but WWE had let him go as Jerry Briscoe?
Yeah, but he was like 89 years old.
But
so,
still, 30
on,
years, and look, they let him go.
But I mean, he was.
I get it, but still, it's just one of those guys. That's some kind of like seniority, man. You've been there forever, like.
Yeah, but he probably needed to go home and take a break.
Well, yeah, you think?
But I've been watching a lot of interviews or listening to interviews with some of the guys that got released.
Zack Ryder.
The Zack Ryder with the Chris Van Vliet guy.
That's one
that was cool. The Heath Slater one was really good.
I haven't seen it. I did see it. So.
And then I listened to the Major Wrestling Figure podcast, and they talked about it there with
Well, you know, he talked about
Hawkins.
the whole season, and when everybody says, like, you know, he got buried to John Cena, and he even admitted he did.
Yeah.
He's like, but I wasn't a political guy. I didn't know what to do. He
Yeah.
goes, I was a young kid.
Yeah.
He goes, and I'd got over, and I wasn't even supposed to get over.
Yep.
He's like, but I think if he would know now what he knew then, he would have been back and fought
Right.
a little harder.
I think he, like Cabana years ago, he's going to be like the guy that comes out of this like on top of the mountain. Like
Yeah.
he's going to prosper for
he said
sure.
he's got so many projects, it's not even
Oh,
funny.
dude, it's not even funny, man. And like the Wrestling Figure Podcast is awesome. If you're not listening to that, check it out. They talk a lot about toys, but then you get these little bits and pieces of other stuff, and that's pretty fun.
Is it him and Kurt Hawkins? Is that
Him,
who it
Kurt
is?
Hawkins, and a guy from I think Kurt's school, Mark Sterling, Mark Sterling, or something like that. They call him Silver Balls on there because supposedly he has silver ball hair.
I'm good on that. Thank you.
I don't know, a little too much info for
I
me.
don't know that much information about you, and I'd like to keep it that way.
But it's pretty cool. The podcast is really good, and you know, it's just cool that, you know, at least those three guys we know, like, they came out of this and they're like, we are excited. Like, you know, this is not 10 years ago, 20 years ago where you couldn't make it, where you couldn't make a living not being in WWE. Now, like, you know, you can make a very, very good living not working at WWE.
Yes.
And
Right.
just be like, Heath Slater's like, man, I'm excited to go work indies. He's like, I worked indies in Georgia for a year, and he was like, then I got signed. He's like, I've been there 15
Since
years.
he's 22.
He was like,
He's 35.
he's
now.
like, there's so much I want to do. He's like, now he's like, I live below my means. He's like, now I just want to go have fun wrestling.
I love that he said he wanted his first feud to be with a rapid delivery.
Oh, yeah, was Zack Ryder?
Yes.
Yes, he wants to be.
I
Well,
about
a big thing
died.
on the show is they talk about you know, things spreading as fast as rapid deliveries, butt cheeks, when Zack Ryder ripped his gear off of him or whatever in ECW. And it used to be, they used to talk about Rikishi's, like, she'll spread as fast as Rikishi's butt cheeks or whatever. But I don't know if something was said, something was done or whatever, but that changed to Roy Fox, rapid delivery. And if somebody remember him from the MTV,
Yeah, that's what I knew. him
MTV
from.
stuff, yeah. So like, he was a paper boy, you know.
He would literally come out like handing out banners and
Yeah,
stuff.
like
Not banners, but like
newspapers
leaflets
and stuff.
shit.
Yeah. So
I remember them. They literally went and got his gear and all that stuff.
yeah,
And that was the because they said he looked like Opie Taylor, and they wanted to be something like
Like a
Opie,
paper boy,
and he
yeah.
made him a paper boy.
yeah. So
Oh
pretty cool. But
my-
yeah,
oh
he
my
wants to have a
God.
tuxedo match, and he like, they do these live events where they're like about their toy show and stuff, and he's like, the next live event that we're able to do, that match is happening. He's going to book it himself and have him and Roy Fox in a tuxedo
Whatever.
match. So that'll be pretty cool. Maybe Rory will get a little revenge on
shit.
him. So, but yeah, man, it's cool. And I saw a lot of people saying like Heath Slater would be a good fit for the NWA, and I really agree with that. Like, I think the NWA would be a great spot for him.
Yeah.
I'm still rooting for EC3 to go and hit up MLW and be the new leader of the Dynasty. So,
What I'm reading is more or less they're expecting him to go with what is their name now? Because they changed it from the Revival. It's something
The
else.
Revolt.
Revolt. Supposedly he may be with him, and they may be like a 3-man group going to AEW.
you know, if they put them with Ty Dillinger and
I have no idea.
Brainbusters, not Arn, Tully Blanchard,
Totally, yeah.
like, that would be an awesome
I
little
wish
group.
they'd do something with them. They've made Tully look like such a damn
Like,
joke.
that
It
would
ain't
be a
even
cool
funny.
group. Tully leading.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, man.
Yeah. I wish they would do something with him.
Like, come on,
I thought they were going to
Cody.
do something with him when they put him with the Mr. Perfect 10.
Yeah.
And that went fucking
I
nowhere.
mean, they had the little stuff where he killed Cody with the chair, and that was it.
What the hell's
So
that?
he hadn't heard anything. I mean, they've had him on there, but like, it's just
But his
nothing,
point was
you know.
crap. I mean, he's been stuck on AEW Dark, and I'm like, it ain't like he ain't got a good look, and ain't like he's
Yeah.
ain't a good wrestler. I'm like, what are y'all doing?
I don't know. They gave the 10 gimmick to the Dark
I guess
Order
the
guy.
mask guys.
So sorry, Ty, you can no longer be 10.
And,
Yeah, man, it's a different world we live in, man. I'm excited to see some of these guys. Like Heath Slater said, man, like, there were so many guys released that now, and they're such a big area that they can go to. Like, it's not just one or two little places. Like, you add one or two of those guys into every promotion, and you know how much different the wrestling world would be.
And Zach said he wanted to go to Japan and wrestle,
Yeah.
not just AEW.
Yeah.
He's like, I never got to do that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, I think it's cool.
I wish them
like,
all luck. I hope
I
they
definitely
all
would
come
like to
off
have a
with
few of
something.
those guys come through Ego. I think it'd be awesome. We've never been really like the let's bring in old WWE guys, but
These really aren't old
these
guys.
aren't old. That's it. Yeah. So if we could get some of these fresh
Zach's
guys,
30, and I think he's in his 30s.
he says 36.
Yeah, he's 35.
So I mean, if we could get some of these guys in, man, it'd be really awesome.
Yeah.
You know,
Like
never
it
say
is.
never. Yeah. Well, he said he's just going to be like him cranked up. He's going to be like Simply Heath or something. So, well, he didn't say Simply Heath. He just said he'd be like Heath. But I think like Simply Heath has a better sound than just being Heath. He said he really didn't want to do like Heath Miller, his real name, but said like his middle name is Wallace, and he's like Heath Wallace would be good. He's like, maybe it's just because I'm a fan of Braveheart or whatever. So
William Wallace.
yeah, he's like, maybe I just see you like that. And he's like,
Freedom!
he is
he
like,
got his guts pulled out.
yeah.
Sweet.
So he was like, maybe that's why I like that, like Heath Wallace. But he's like, I may just be Heath. But people in the YouTube comments were like, Simply Heath would be kind of cool, and I agree with that.
I agree.
I don't know how, great that is, but I mean, it'd be a start. It's better than Trent ?
There's one gimmick was I got kids.
You know how that came about?
He said something. I think it was just some BS.
Yeah, he said like he was in the like a back and forth promo with Brock and Paul Heyman, and he's like, I forgot my lines, and he was just like, man, I got to do this. I got kids. And he was like, Vince heard it. He's like, Vince, like, that's obnoxious to tell people you got kids. So, whatever, man. And, like, it's funny, like, the comments in the YouTube thing was like, isn't it funny that the one thing got him over was the one thing that wasn't written for him, Like,
yeah, no kidding.
like, hey,
They're
pay
writing so
attention,
bad.
like, maybe if you quit writing every little thing, maybe some guys could get over.
Well, they just had how did it go? Like, they were at the building. They started at the bottom of the building for their ladder match, and they had to go to the top.
They was climbing the corporate ladder.
And literally, the women's and men's match was going on simultaneous.
I heard that it was going to do that, but I wasn't
I haven't
sure.
watched it yet. I know the winner was.
I know Baron Corbin killed 2 people by throwing them off the top of the
Yeah,
building.
because clearly you can, I don't know how big that building is, but it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's if you fall off, it's gonna hurt. Let's put it like that.
You would be in there, heaven or hell or wherever you believe in now.
You ever see that? Splat. That's what it would be.
It's just so dumb. But WCW did it with Hogan and the Giant.
Yeah, and the Giant came back 30 minutes
and they
later.
had a match.
He didn't even have a limp.
He's like,
You can't hurt me. I'm the Giant.
exactly. Now he's on a show on Netflix. I haven't watched, but it's called The Big Show Show.
Yeah, cool.
So there you go.
I'm a fan of Knucklehead. I thought that was an awesome movie.
That was alright. But,
yeah. So
yeah,
that's been wrestling.
that's wrestling night now, unfortunately. And MLW is going to start doing like showing older videos.
Yeah.
I'm more excited about that than any of the AAA crap that I saw.
Yeah.
Besides a few matches.
I mean,
Some
the
of
first couple
were
matches
really
in the
good.
AAA stuff was good, but just
Some
this
of it was
last 2
awful.
episodes wasn't good. The last one was definitely not good. I mean, watch it for the promos and stuff. That was I get that. Just when the match
that was
comes on,
great.
it's like
Yeah, if you got sensitive ears on some of the matcher stuff, you might have to do
yeah,
this.
yeah, because he
He lets a couple of MFs and GDs fly. He's worse than I am, so.
for sure. But hey, I don't know if you got predictions of where you think some of the guys that got fired is going to end up. I'd like to hear them. Like, just post that in the comments below. And
But well, let me ask you this: has he said anything about like not Heath Slater, Zach and
Kurt Hawkins.
Kurt Hawkins? Is it Kurt done?
No.
Okay, I didn't know.
He's excited too.
I'd heard about Zach. I hadn't seen.
I think the only one I think I've heard of that's maybe quitting was Leo Rush.
Oh, thank God! I can't stand him anyway.
So coming to Ego soon. No, I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
probably
to work to Madman.
No, well, he'll no sell everything and get up. Then I'll have to show him how to not no sell anything and get up anyway.
But yeah, so Madman's clearly a fan of Leo Rush.
No, I'm not.
So, but yeah, let us know your predictions, and I said it I think last episode. Like, help us try to get you know, like 100 comments, 100 likes, 100 views. I don't know, anything. If we hit 100 in anything, I'm gonna give something away. So wrestling related. Could be a book, could be a magazine, could be a DVD, could be the Madman. Who knows?
Nah.
But something wrestling related will come your way.
Like 5 minutes and send me back.
Yeah. So just help get us to. I think this was a cool episode. I think it was pretty interesting. So help get this to 100 likes, 100 comments, 100 views, whichever one comes first. And I'll grab somebody out of the comment section and shoot them a prize.
Cool.
So till next time,
Watch wrestling.
watch wrestling.